The massive screen in the United Nations General Assembly showed an alien face that looked almost like a marble statue. Its skin was pure white, with eyes that glowed a soft blue. The room was completely silent as the alien spoke. "People of Earth," the being said in perfect English, "I am High Counselor Marcus of the Galactic Council. Your planet has been found lacking in the standards we expect from civilized worlds. You have 30 Earth days to surrender control to the Council or face extinction." In the front row, Ambassador James Miller gripped his armrest tightly. At 55 years old, he had spent his entire career preparing for first contact. But not like this. Never like this. The alien continued. "Your primitive chemical rockets and basic space stations show us you are not ready for galactic society. For your own good, and the good of the galaxy, we will take control." President Wilson, sitting next to Miller, whispered, "They think we're primitive. If they only knew." Miller nodded slightly. For the past 40 years, Earth had carefully hidden its true capabilities. Every public space launch used old rocket technology. Every satellite appeared basic and simple. But deep underground and in secret bases on Mars, humanity's true power waited. The High Counselor's image disappeared, replaced by scenes of massive alien ships. They were beautiful in a terrifying way, like silver clouds that could destroy planets. "This is just one of our fleets," the alien voice said. "Resistance would be pointless." Within hours, the world's leaders gathered in an emergency session. For the first time in human history, old enemies sat together without argument. Russian and American generals shared battle plans. Chinese and Indian scientists compared notes on shield technology. European and African leaders organized resource distribution. In a secure room below the UN building, Miller prepared for his response to the Council. He would be Earth's voice, and he needed to play his part perfectly. "Remember," President Wilson told him, "act scared. Act primitive. Let them think we're just learning to walk while they run." Miller straightened his tie and stepped onto a special platform. Light surrounded him as Earth's hidden quantum transmitter sent his image to the Galactic Council chambers. The Council chamber was enormous. Hundreds of alien species sat in rising tiers, looking down at Miller's projection. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange he could barely understand what he was seeing. All of them watched him with what he guessed was contempt. "Honorable Council," Miller began, making his voice shake slightly. "Surely there must be some mistake. We are a peaceful people. We only wish to learn from your advanced civilization." High Counselor Marcus smiled in what was probably supposed to be a kind way. "Your species is young. You need guidance. Accept our rule, and we will teach you proper ways." Miller bowed his head, hiding his smile. The Council was falling for it completely. They saw exactly what Earth wanted them to see: a frightened, primitive species. Back on Earth, deep under the Rocky Mountains, General Thompson watched the exchange on a quantum screen. Around him, Earth's real technology hummed. Plasma cannons powered up. Quantum computers processed data faster than any Council machine could dream of. Shield generators waited silently. 30 days, Thompson said to his staff. "They're giving us 30 days to prepare a surprise they'll never forget." In orbit, hidden by technology, the Council couldn't detect. Earth's true fleet waited. Ships that combined the best of a dozen alien technologies with human innovation. Weapons that could cut through Council shields like paper. And crews who had trained their entire lives for this moment. Miller finished his speech to the Council with a perfect touch of fear in his voice. "We humbly request more time to consider your generous offer." 30 days, High Counselor Marcus repeated. "Not 1 day more." As Miller's projection faded from the Council chamber, he finally allowed himself to smile. The aliens had made 3 big mistakes. They had threatened humanity. They had underestimated Earth. And most importantly, they had given their greatest enemy time to prepare. In 30 days, the galaxy would learn why you should never corner a human. even a supposedly primitive one. The Council spy ship hung in space near Jupiter, hidden behind one of its many moons. The ship's captain, a tall being with silver skin, stared at his data screen in disbelief. "This cannot be correct," he muttered. "Scan again." His crew ran the scans for the fourth time. The results didn't change. The humans weren't just monitoring Council communications, they were decoding them faster than the Council could send them. On Earth, in a facility deep under the Australian desert, Dr. Alan Peters watched Council messages appear on his quantum screens in real time. His team of scientists had cracked the Council's unbreakable codes years ago. Now they knew every secret, every plan, and every weakness of their would-be conquerors. "Send this to command," Peters said, pointing to a particular message. "The Council is planning an early attack. They won't wait the full 30 days. In the Council chambers, High Counselor Marcus received disturbing reports. His spies had found something impossible, a massive underground base on Mars. But Mars was supposed to be empty except for a few primitive human robots. "How did we miss this?" he demanded. A junior counselor, nervous and shaking, showed him the images. The base stretched for miles under the red planet's surface. Council sensors showed energy readings that shouldn't be possible with human technology. "There's more," the junior counselor said. "We found these in orbit around Earth." The images showed strange devices hidden behind cloaking fields that had fooled Council scanners for years. They weren't the primitive satellites the Council had seen before. These were advanced weapon platforms, more powerful than anything the Council had. Back on Earth, General Thompson walked through a massive underground hangar in the Rocky Mountains. Rows of ships lined the walls, each one a perfect mix of stolen alien technology and human innovation. Engineers had taken designs from a dozen different alien races and combined them in ways the Council had never imagined. "Status report," Thompson ordered. "All ships ready, sir," his assistant replied. "The Council still hasn't detected our quantum shields or our new weapons. They're still scanning for their own technology types. They can't see how we've changed them." In orbit, Council spy ships continued their observation of Earth. They watched human rockets launch into space, burning chemical fuel just like always. But they couldn't see the quantum-powered ships that launched in secret, hidden by technology the Council thought impossible for humans to have. The Council's military commander, Admiral Rex, prepared his attack fleet. "These humans are primitive," he told his captains. "Their rockets take days to reach their own moon. Their computers are basic. Their weapons are simple. This will be an easy victory." But in his private quarters, Rex looked at the latest spy reports with growing worry. Something wasn't right. The humans were too calm. Their ambassador was too willing to play weak. Their military bases showed normal activity, but power readings from deep underground suggested something else entirely. In the Australian facility, Dr. Peters received a new Council transmission. He smiled as he decoded it. "They're starting to suspect," he told his team. "But they still don't understand what they're facing. They're looking for copies of their own technology. They can't imagine we've created something new." Ambassador Miller stood in the UN building, watching reports from around the world. Russia had activated its hidden fleet. China's quantum cannons were ready. Europe's shield network hummed with power. Africa's stealth systems were operational. Every continent, every nation, had played its part in the Great Deception. 20 days left. Miller said to President Wilson, "Should we keep pretending?" Wilson looked at the latest intelligence reports. The Council was planning to attack in 5 days, breaking their own deadline. They thought they would catch Earth unprepared. "Let them come," Wilson said. "Let them think we're weak right up until the moment they learn the truth." In space, the Council's spy ship captain made his final report. "The humans continue their primitive activities," he wrote. "They show no signs of advanced technology or space combat capability." As he sent the message, a human stealth ship watched from barely 100 meters away, completely invisible to Council sensors. Inside, the crew smiled. Soon, very soon, the Council would learn why humans were the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Not because they were advanced, but because they were clever enough to hide just how advanced they really were. The Council attack fleet appeared near Mars, 5,000 ships strong. They glowed silver against the black of space, their weapons charged and ready. Admiral Rex stood on his command ship's bridge, feeling confident about the easy victory ahead. "Send the message," he ordered. "Tell Earth to surrender now, or face immediate destruction." On Earth, in the military command center under the Rocky Mountains, General Thompson watched the Council fleets approach. Beside him, President Wilson and other world leaders gathered around the tactical display. "They're exactly where we want them," Thompson said, his finger hovering over a red button. "Shall we show them what primitive humans can do?" Wilson nodded. "Light them up." Suddenly, all across Mars's surface, hidden doors opened in the red sand. Massive gun barrels rose from underground bases. The Council fleet had no time to react before the first shots fired. "Impossible," Admiral Rex shouted as the first wave of quantum torpedoes tore through his ship's shields like they weren't even there. "Their weapons, they're using modified Council technology." The Council fleet scrambled to respond, but Earth wasn't done with surprises. From behind Mars' moons, hundreds of Earth ships appeared. They weren't the chemical rockets the Council expected. These ships were sleek, black, and deadly. Admiral Thomas Reed sat in the command chair of the Earth Fleet flagship, Thunder. Around him, crew members worked at stations that mixed human intuition with alien technology. "All ships, execute Battle Plan Alpha," Reed ordered. "Show them why you never corner a human." The Earth ships moved in ways the Council had never seen before. They combined the speed of one alien race's drives with the maneuverability of another's, all improved by human engineers. Their weapons fired impossible combinations of technology that cut through Council defenses. "How are they doing this?" A Council captain screamed as his shields failed. "Their technology is more advanced than ours." From his flagship, Admiral Rex watched in horror as his fleet was torn apart. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were winning easily. His ship's weapons couldn't lock on to the Earth vessels. Their shields couldn't stop Earth's attacks. Nothing in his training had prepared him for this. "Full retreat," Rex ordered. "Get us out of here." But the humans had thought of that too. Quantum disruptors, hidden in Mars rings, activated. The Council ship's engines sputtered and died. They were trapped. In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Thompson watched the battle with grim satisfaction. "Phase 2, he ordered. Across Earth's surface, massive cannons emerged from their hiding places. They aimed at the Council fleet, their barrels glowing with power stolen from a dozen alien worlds and improved by human science. "Last chance to surrender," Thompson transmitted to the Council fleet. "Unlike you, we prefer not to destroy those who can't fight back." On his crippled flagship, Admiral Rex faced a choice he never thought possible. His mighty fleet, which had conquered dozens of worlds, was being defeated by a species that supposedly only had chemical rockets. We surrender," he said, his voice shaking. The battle was over in less than an hour. 3,000 Council ships destroyed, the rest captured. Earth's casualties, 0. In the Council chambers, High Counselor Marcus received the news with disbelief. "How?" he demanded. "How did primitives defeat our best fleet?" Ambassador Miller's hologram appeared before the Council. This time, he didn't pretend to be scared. He stood tall, confident, speaking with authority that made even the oldest Council members sit up straight. "You made a simple mistake," Miller said. "You thought different meant primitive. You saw our chemical rockets and assumed we couldn't build better. You never asked why we still used them." He paused, letting his words sink in. "We learned long ago that the best weapon is the one your enemy doesn't know you have. Every primitive rocket we launched took your attention away from our real ships. Every simple satellite you saw hid a dozen advanced ones. The council chamber erupted in chaos as Miller continued. And now you have a choice. Withdraw your forces from Earth space immediately, or find out what else the primitives have been hiding. As Miller's hologram faded, one young council member turned to another and whispered, "What have we awakened?" The answer was simple: humanity's full potential. And this was just the beginning. Captain Lisa Ward stood on the bridge of her stealth ship, Shadow, looking at the massive council space station ahead. Her ship, along with 50 others, was completely invisible to council sensors. They had been sitting here for 3 days, watching council ships come and go. "All ships report ready," her first officer whispered, though the council couldn't have heard them even if they shouted. "Begin Operation Ghost," Ward ordered. Across council space, hundreds of Earth ships appeared from nowhere. They had been hiding near every major council world, watching and waiting. Now, they struck all at once. On the council capital world, High Counselor Marcus woke to screaming alarms. "What's happening?" he demanded. "Our shipyards, they're just gone," his aide reported, trembling. "Supply stations, fuel depots, weapon factories, all destroyed. We never saw what hit them." Earth's ghost fleet moved like shadows through council space. Their ships used technology that made them invisible not just to sensors, but even to the naked eye. Council defenders fired blindly into space, hoping to hit something, anything. In her command center on Earth, General Thompson watched the operation unfold. Green lights on her screen showed Earth ships hitting their targets. Red lights showed council facilities going dark. "Status report," she called out. "Phase 1 complete," her staff reported. 70% of council military infrastructure destroyed. No Earth ships lost. But this was just the beginning. While council worlds panicked about the ghost ships, Earth launched Phase 2. Captain Ward's ship slipped through council defenses like they weren't even there. Her target was the council's main communication hub, a massive station that controlled their entire network. "They still think their systems are unbeatable," she said to her crew. "Time to prove them wrong." Earth's best hackers had spent years studying council computer systems. They found weaknesses the council didn't even know existed. Now they used them. Ward's team uploaded special programs into the council network. Within minutes, council ships started losing power. Defense systems shut down. Communication arrays went dark. "This is impossible," a council tech leader shouted at his staff. "Their computers are primitive. How are they doing this?" The answer was simple. Earth had never shown its real technology. While the council watched Earth's old-style internet and basic computers, quantum systems hidden underground had broken every council code. On the council capital world, Marcus tried to organize a defense. But how do you fight an enemy you can't see? How do you stop ships that appear from nowhere, strike, and vanish again? "Send the defense fleet," he ordered. "We can't," his military commander replied. "Half our ships have lost power. The other half can't trust their computers. Earth is inside our systems, controlling everything." At Earth's Quantum Command Center, Dr. Peters watched council communications fall apart. "They're trying to switch to their backup systems," he reported. "Let them," General Thompson said with a smile. "We've been inside those systems for years too." Captain Ward's ship appeared inside the council's main defense ring, so close they could see council workers through the station windows. Her team had one more surprise to deliver. "Upload the final package," she ordered. The program spread through council networks like a virus. But instead of destroying things, it showed the truth. Every screen in council space lit up with proof of Earth's long preparation. Videos of hidden factories, advanced technology, and years of surveillance. "You thought we were primitive," Ward's message played on every council device. "You thought we were weak. Now you know better. The choice is yours. Negotiate peace, or find out what else we can do." In the council chambers, Marcus watched his empire crumble. The mighty council fleet was crippled. Their best defenses were useless. Their unbeatable computers were under Earth's control. How long? He asked quietly. How long have they been watching us? The answer appeared on his screen. Long enough to learn all your weaknesses, long enough to become your worst nightmare. As Earth's ghost ships vanished again into the darkness of space, they left behind a changed galaxy. The Council's greatest defeat hadn't come from a massive battle or superior numbers. It had come from humans doing what they did best, being cleverer, more creative, and far more dangerous than anyone expected. General Robert Drake watched the holographic display as another Council fleet fell into Earth's trap. This time, they hadn't even needed to fire a shot. The Council ships, expecting an ambush from invisible Earth vessels, had fired at shadows and destroyed each other in their panic. "They're breaking," Drake said to his staff. "Not their ships, their minds." In the Council chambers, the mighty alien alliance was falling apart. Representatives from 50 different species argued with each other as reports of defeats poured in from every sector. "How can we fight an enemy that's everywhere and nowhere?" shouted one Council member, his scaled skin turning pale with fear. "The humans don't follow any normal battle rules," complained another. "They change tactics every time we think we understand them." High Counselor Marcus watched his alliance crumble. The Council had ruled space for 10,000 years using the same tactics, the same strategies. But humans fought differently every single time. On Earth, in the Strategic Command Center, Drake reviewed the latest battle reports. Earth hadn't just beaten the Council. They had changed how war worked in space. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a tactical display. "The Council sends ships in standard formation every time. They never adapt, never change. They fought the same way for thousands of years." President Wilson nodded. "And we never used the same trick twice," Drake replied. "Yesterday we used invisible ships. Today we turned their own weapons against them. Tomorrow we'll do something they haven't even imagined yet." In deep space, a Council battle group discovered this the hard way. They found what looked like an easy target, a single Earth cargo ship, apparently damaged. As their ships moved to capture it, the cargo ship suddenly split into 20 smaller vessels, each armed with weapons the Council had never seen before. "Impossible," the Council commander screamed as his ships exploded around him. "Their ships can't do that. Ships can't do that." But human ships could. Every Earth vessel was different, modified and improved in ways the Council couldn't predict. Some could split apart, others could combine. Some turned enemy weapons back on their ships. Others simply disappeared. On a major Council world, alien civilians watched recordings of Earth's victories with growing admiration. They saw humans using creativity and innovation, while their own leaders stuck to ancient, unchanging rules. "Perhaps," whispered one alien to another, "the Council is not as wise as we thought." The Council's military academy was in chaos. Nothing in their 10,000 years of tactical doctrine explained how to fight humans. Their textbooks were useless. Their strategies failed. Their best commanders were losing to human tactics they couldn't even understand. "How do we defeat an enemy that never fights the same way twice?" asked a young Council officer. "That's the wrong question," his instructor replied, his voice heavy with defeat. "The question is, how did we ever think we could beat them?" Back on Earth, Drake prepared humanity's next surprise. Earth ships gathered in secret locations, ready for his signal. Each one carried a different weapon, a different strategy, a different way to prove that humans were the most dangerous species in the galaxy. "The Council believes war is about following rules," Drake told his commanders. "We know better. War is about adaptation, innovation, thinking differently every single time." In the Council chambers, Marcus received news that broke his spirit. 3 more Council races had surrendered to Earth, not because they were defeated in battle, but because they wanted to learn from humanity. "Humans are teaching our people new ways to think," the report said. "New ways to build ships, new ways to use technology." things we never imagined in 10,000 years. As Marcus read the report, a human hologram appeared in the chamber. It showed scenes from Earth's history, countless battles, endless innovations, humans constantly learning, adapting, changing. "This is why you can't beat us," Ambassador Miller's voice said over the images. "You've had 10,000 years of peace and stagnation. We've had 10,000 years of constant change. You follow the old ways. We create new ones." The council members watched in silence as the truth became clear. They hadn't just underestimated Earth's technology or military strength. They had underestimated humanity's greatest weapon, the ability to never stop changing, never stop improving, and never, ever fight the same way twice. The Grand Council chamber, once a place of order and control, had turned into a scene of chaos. Half the seats were empty. Their representatives had either fled or switched sides. High Counselor Marcus watched helplessly as his power crumbled. "Another delegation wishes to speak with Earth," his aide reported nervously. "The Centauri Alliance. They want to discuss switching sides." On Earth, Ambassador Miller sat in a room that would have been impossible just weeks ago. Around him were representatives from 20 different alien species, all former council members who now sought Earth's protection and knowledge. "Your ways are different," said one alien, his crystalline body shimmering with interest. "You share technology freely. The council kept secrets, controlled everything." Miller nodded. "Humans learned long ago that progress comes from sharing knowledge, not hoarding it." In orbit above Earth, alien ships arrived daily, not to fight, but to learn. Earth had opened its schools, its laboratories, its innovation centers to any species that chose peace. The results were beyond anything the Council had imagined. "Look at this," Dr. Peters said, showing President Wilson a new device. It combined Earth quantum technology with 3 different alien power systems. "We gave them basic plans yesterday. They improved them overnight. Working together, we're all advancing faster than ever." The Council's mighty warships, once the terror of the galaxy, now sat idle in their ports. Their crews were deserting, not out of fear, but out of desire to learn Earth's ways of thinking. "They don't just have better technology," a council captain told his crew before abandoning his post. "They have better ideas. They think differently, and are willing to teach us." In a secret meeting room on the council capital world, Marcus faced the bitter truth. 5 more major species had announced their intention to leave the council, not because Earth had defeated them, but because Earth offered something the council never had: freedom to grow, to change, to innovate. "We could learn from them," suggested a junior counselor. "Ask them to teach us their ways." "Never," Marcus shouted, but his voice carried no power anymore. Around him, even his most loyal supporters were beginning to doubt. On Earth's moon, now transformed into a galactic learning center, aliens and humans worked side by side. Council technology merged with human innovation, creating things neither side had dreamed possible. "This is how humans became so powerful," a former council engineer realized as he worked with Earth scientists. "They take ideas from everywhere, mix them in new ways, never stop trying new things." Ambassador Miller's next speech to the council wasn't a threat or a demand. Instead, he offered hope. "Join us," he said to the remaining council members, "not as conquered subjects, but as partners. Humanity doesn't want to rule the galaxy. We want to explore it, improve it, make it better for everyone." In secret bases across council space, more ships disappeared daily, not destroyed by Earth's ghost fleet, but voluntarily joining the growing alliance of free worlds centered on Earth. "The humans have shown us a new way," declared the leader of a major council race. "Not rule through force, but progress through cooperation." Marcus made his final mistake. He ordered all remaining loyal ships to attack Earth, hoping one massive strike would end the revolution. But when the order went out, only a handful of ships responded. The others sent back a simple message: "We choose Earth's way." In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, General Thompson showed President Wilson the latest numbers. 80% of Council forces have either surrendered or joined us, she reported. Not because we destroyed them, but because we showed them a better way. Miller stood before the Council one last time. The chamber was almost empty now, a symbol of the old order's collapse. You tried to conquer us because you thought we were primitive, he said to the few remaining members. Instead, we showed the galaxy that true power doesn't come from control. It comes from freedom, cooperation, and the courage to embrace new ideas. As Miller spoke, ships from 50 different species gathered around Earth. Not in fear, not in submission, but in hope. Humanity had done more than defeat the Council. They had changed the galaxy forever. 1 year after Earth's first strike, the galaxy had changed forever. The massive space station orbiting Earth wasn't just a symbol. It was the new center of galactic civilization. Ships from 1,000 worlds moved through space around it, their designs as varied as the species that built them. Inside the station's great assembly hall, Ambassador Miller watched as former enemies became partners. The rigid rows of the old council chamber were gone, replaced by a circular design where all species sat as equals. The final vote is complete, announced the chamber's AI system. The Galactic Council is officially dissolved. The new Galactic Assembly of Free Worlds will take its place. High Counselor Marcus, now stripped of his power, stood trial before representatives of every species. His crimes weren't just against Earth, they were against progress itself. For 10,000 years, the lead judge said, you held back the development of countless species. You didn't just stop progress, you punished those who dared to think differently. On Earth, humanity celebrated not victory in war, but victory for peace. The planet had become the galaxy's greatest learning center. Alien students filled universities, learning not just human technology, but human ways of thinking. Watch this, Dr. Peters said to President Wilson, pointing to a group of alien scientists working with human students. They were building something that combined 5 different species technologies in ways nobody had tried before. That's the real victory, Wilson replied. Not beating them in battle, but teaching them to innovate. In orbit, Captain Ward's Ghost Fleet had a new mission. Instead of striking fear, they now protected trade routes and explored unknown space. Their advanced stealth technology helped find new civilizations, making sure no developing species would ever face the threat of Council domination again. General Drake stood in the new Academy of Defense, where military leaders from across the galaxy trained together. The walls showed scenes from Earth's history, not just victories, but failures, lessons learned, and changes made. The old council taught one way to fight. Drake told his mixed species class, we teach you to think for yourselves, to adapt, to find new solutions. That's the human way. In the assembly hall, Miller addressed the gathered representatives. Behind him, Earth hung in space, no longer a target for conquest, but a beacon of hope. A year ago, we faced extinction, he said. The council thought we were primitive because we did things differently. They never understood that being different was our greatest strength. The assembly members, humans, aliens, even former council races, listened as Miller continued. We didn't win because we were stronger. We won because we never stopped learning, never stopped changing, never stopped trying new things. And now we offer that same freedom to every species in the galaxy. On the former council capital world, the last symbols of the old order came down. In their place rose research centers, innovation hubs, and schools where all species work together. I still don't understand, a former council member admitted to President Wilson during a diplomatic visit. How did you hide your true power for so long? Wilson smiled. Because true power isn't about showing strength. It's about knowing when to wait, when to watch, and when to act. Humanity's greatest strength was patience. The new Galactic Assembly passed its first laws, not rules to control, but guidelines to protect. Every species had the right to develop in its own way. Knowledge would be shared, not hoarded. Innovation would be rewarded, not feared. In Earth's quantum labs, Dr. Peters worked beside alien scientists, their different ways of thinking creating technologies that neither could have developed alone. "This is just the beginning," he said, looking at a device that broke all the old council's rules about what was possible. "Together, we'll go further than any of us could have gone alone." As the first year of the new era ended, humanity had achieved something greater than victory in war. They had shown the galaxy a new way forward, not through force or control, but through cooperation, innovation, and the courage to think differently. The stars themselves seemed brighter now, full of possibility. And somewhere out there, new civilizations were growing, secure in the knowledge that when they reached for the stars, they would find not conquerors, but teachers. The age of the Council was over. The age of humanity had begun.